brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys. Now it's sippin' time.
Oh yeah, it's sippin' time again. Hello and welcome to this Sips episode where everything good in life is worth discussing. As always, we are the best thing on at 2 a.m. This is a 1-hour show that's mildly entertaining for about 3.5 minutes.
22 on a good day.
We are banned in 3 countries, 1 state.
Roll Tide.
And at this point, the dog won't even talk to us.
Didn't like him anyway.
Yeah, well. This is Made Man Bob. Joining me today, our good old boy Harmeet.
Woo! Thanks for having me.
Made Man Maury.
Good morning, Bob.
And Made Man Brent.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. I love the new neon sign here in the basement.
It's a nice basement.
It's a very nice basement.
It's a little damp down here in the basement, but other than that, it's fine.
We are in Florida.
Yeah, well.
Dig 5 feet and your feet in our water.
In Florida, we don't have basements. If you make a concrete box in the ground, and that's basically called a pool. Brent, Maury, and myself are with the Bourbon Mafia. The Bourbon Mafia is a nonprofit organization composed of bourbon enthusiasts and industry professionals with representation.
Did you say the professionals?
Industry.
Oh, okay.
Clean out your ears. With representation in 8 states, our members combine a love of bourbon and a passion for charitable work. The group uses their love of our native spirit to raise money for local and national charities through rare bottle auctions and other themed events. Our show is sponsored in part by Fine Spirits of Cooper City, Florida, home of the Enigmatic Machines, serving great wines, whiskeys, and other spirits by the glass. You can find them at www.finespirits.net. And also by The Bourbon Review, a quarterly magazine and online source for all things bourbon. You can find them on Facebook or at their website at www.gobourbon.com.
I like them.
Good bourbon. Yeah, exactly. Our sip segments are all about wine, distilled spirits, tea, coffee, and today's show is all about Blantons. Yeah, it's the one with a little horsey on the top. We'll cover some background. I always like to keep you guys on your toes. We'll cover some background on the brand as well as on the individual products we will be tasting. And here's a short list of what we're going to be discussing today. We're going to be doing Blanton's Green Label, Blanton's Single Barrel Bourbon, Blanton's Gold Label, Blanton's Straight from the Barrel, and Blanton's Single Barrel Bourbon, store pick from Bern Steakhouse in Tampa. So why don't we, yeah, it's going to be.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go ahead and have Brent give us a little bit of story about Blanton's.
Thanks. Blanton's is produced at the Buffalo Trace Distillery. Yeah.
Tastes great. Less filling.
Yes. And in a prior episode, we discussed some of the history of that facility and some of the important figures that helped shape the company. One of those individuals was Colonel Albert B. Blanton. Colonel Blanton first came to the distillery, which was then known as the George T. Stagg Distillery at the age
Heard that name before.
Yeah, that's a good name. And at the age of 16 and worked there for more than 55 years.
Man, I wish I was 16 working at a distillery.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah, he worked his way up to the ranks, and he worked in virtually every department at the distillery, eventually becoming president of the distillery in 1921. During his tenure, Colonel Blanton guided the distillery through good times and bad. He managed to keep the distillery open and producing whiskey during Prohibition by securing one of the only 4 federal licenses issued to produce medicinal whiskey.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
No, that doesn't work there. The prescription is whiskey.
Yeah.
The prescription is whiskey.
Yeah. He managed to bring the distillery back to production within 24 hours after the Great Flood of 1937, and he oversaw the operation of the distillery during World War II when it was required to suspend making whiskey and to convert to making alcohol for the war effort. In 1949, Elmer T. Lee joined the distillery as maintenance engineer after serving in World War II. Like Colonel Blanton, the man that hired him, Elmer worked his way up through the ranks, eventually becoming the plant manager and master distillery. Elmer remembered how Colonel Blanton felt.
Master distiller.
Yeah. And
that too.
Yeah.
Yep. I apologize for Brent right now.
Yeah.
He
I
drinks
thought
more
I
than me.
told you never to interrupt me while I'm working.
Sorry.
Elmer remembered how Colonel Blanton felt that Warehouse H, the only metal walled warehouse in the property, produced the best bourbon at the facility, and how he would individually hand-pick barrels from this warehouse. He bottled one at a time. Those bottles would then be distributed to dignitaries, VIPs, close friends, and relatives, and it was this practice that gave Elmer an idea. In 1984, bourbon was not exactly the hot commodity that it is today. In fact, many distilleries were struggling just to sell bourbon at any price, but it was at this time that Elmer had the vision to create a premium single-barrel product. It was this product that he chose to name in honor of the man that had originally given him a start at the industry, and Blanton's Single Barrel was born. While Elmer went on to retire shortly thereafter, he remained active in the distillery until his death in 2013, watching the brand he created continue to grow. Today, most distilleries offer one or even several single-barrel bourbons, but it was Elmer T. Lee that started it all with an homage to his mentor. All the expressions of Blanton's are hand-bottled in the Albert Blanton's Bottling Hall at the Buffalo Trace, and capped with one of 8 different horse racing stoppers showing the different strides from a horse race. Each stopper is marked with a single letter that, when you complete the set, spells out Blanton's.
Well, it also spells out boat and baton.
A lot
salon.
of different things.
Yeah.
A lot of different things.
If you get nothing but B's, it spells
bot.
Yeah. People, there's a lot of N's out on the market lately. What's going on with that? I can never get to think.
There are 2 N's in Blanton's.
2 N's in Blanton's, yeah. So the basic data on all the Blanton's expressions, the still proof, it's 70% alcohol by volume, 140 proof. The entry proof is 62.5% alcohol by volume, or 125 proof. They all come from Warehouse H still. The barrel type is a white oak. The independent stave that makes those barrels. They air dry for 6 months, and they put a number 4 char on them.
That seems like a short time for drying those staves. I've seen some people seasoning their oak for up to 3 years.
I think a year is pretty standard.
I think they know what they're doing down there.
I think 6 months is actually standard. A year is kind of beyond that. The guys are doing it 2 or 3 years. That's, like
maybe where they're getting their wood.
Well, Buffalo Trace did that experimental series where they were, aging the wood forever, and it's. I think 6 months is pretty much standard.
Is it?
What about the mash bill? Anybody have any knowledge on the mash bill?
That one I couldn't tell you. There's only a couple of mash bills at Buffalo Trace, but I've been drinking, so I can't really remember them all off the top of my head.
I once knew it.
Yeah. I once knew a lot of things many years ago, and the brain was a lot more functional, but unfortunately these days, not so much.
And we could put our editors on their toes and maybe have them put it in later.
Probably not.
It's not going to happen.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's some information and history.
That's homework for you, class. Look it up on Google.
There you go. That's what Google's for. That's some information and history on Blanton's. And in the spirit of Colonel Blanton, we're going to have Harmeet tell us about our SIPS ratings in his best Indian Kentucky Colonel voice.
Well, now you just put me on the spot.
Yeah, I know. This is what you get for coming in late.
Oh.
Okay, you can just do Kentucky Colonel.
I'm going to do some sort of amorphous Southern accent. It's not quite.
Now,
Texas.
come on, you can't conjure up a Southern Colonel. What is wrong with you? You've lived in the South for how many years, and you cannot come up with a Colonel's voice?
My beard does not. See, I sound like a redneck. You've got that genteel, sophisticated Southern accent, and
Well, it's a mixture of Southern Virginia and Kentucky.
I married a redneck. I married a couple rednecks, actually.
This is true.
Roll Tide. Sorry, sweetheart. Let's get on with those ratings.
All right.
All right. Well, the way we do our ratings here is we rate our whiskeys, our wines, and our other whatnot, what have you, liquid refreshment with the number of sips we would give that. So, 1 sip. Give me a glass of water to wash out my mouth.
Water. Drink water.
There's your Indian accent. 2 sips. Nice. What else do you have?
Well, isn't that nice?
3 sips. That was interesting. What was that again?
Interesting.
4 sips. Let's keep this one a secret to ourselves, boy. Pour me another.
That's classified.
Who exactly you calling boy?
It's a term of endearment.
Yeah, okay.
Well, anyway. 5 sips. Oh my. I was unaware anything could taste this good.
Oh my goodness.
What was that?
I don't even recognize that sound.
No, I've never heard it in my life.
Brent's just got this silly look on his face. I think he may know something about this.
He might have seen it on a video. Please.
All I hear is banjos. I don't know what that means.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Maury, you've heard that sound, right?
Once or twice.
Yeah. He paid for it. It was a Subic Bay. It was back when he was in the military. I'm not going to go there, but
Good idea.
Well, kids, thank you for letting me read the sips ratings, but I have to work on that Colonel accent. I really need. We need to talk.
yeah, you need to work on that Colonel. The Colonel accent is very easy to come with.
All right. Well,
we'll work on it after the commercial break.
A message from the American Podcast Council.
Hey, everybody, gather around the piano.
All right. Hey, what you listening to? Podcasts. How can I listen to podcasts?
Here, let me show you real fast.
It's easier than baking a cake.
Well, I should hope so.
Hey, you know there's nothing on earth like a genuine bona fide electrified 3-part podcast?
Yeah.
That's right. And it seems today, in our troubled world, most people don't know what a podcast is.
No.
It's true, but you know. Got one in your ear right now.
Sure do.
So please, help me out. Show your friends and neighbors how to cast a pod.
Okay.
Then tell the world about your favorite show using hashtag tripod. That's TRYPOD with a capital T and that rhymes with P, and you know what that stands for.
Podcast.
Hashtag tripod. That's TRY pod.
All right, we are back, and we are tasting a series of whiskeys from Blanton's. So let's go ahead and start at the beginning, and I'm going to have Maury introduce our first product.
Thank you, Bob. The first product we'll be reviewing today is the Blanton Special Reserve, also referred to as the Green Label. It comes in at 40% ABV. This expression was created as an introductory addition to the full lineup, Blanton Special Reserve. It's commonly referred to as the Green Label, as I mentioned above. Unfortunately, it's only available on the international market. It is a little bit of a lower proof than some of the other expressions we'll be tasting today. And that's something that will come out as we talk about the tasting. It's got a very nice light amber color on the nose. Typical bourbon. Got some dry citrus.
On the nose.
Dry citrus, a little bit of raisin, some light vanilla, and spice. On the palate, I think the big thing that I notice on the palate is, number one, everything's a little muted compared to, say, a standard Blanton edition. In my view, it tastes a little bit like watered down Blantons. However, the one thing I do notice is, for whatever reason, even though it's a bit watered down, the oak seems to come through fairly heavily. And at least in this particular bottle, it seems as though the oak, thank you, the oak is a little bit dominating and a little bit out of balance. On the palate, it's definitely sweet. There's a bit of citrus. There's some light vanilla, a little bit of honey, a little bit of caramel. And the finish is relatively short and sweet with, again, notes of spice, hints of cinnamon and apple. I like this whiskey, and I think if you were to compare it to a lot of other things on the market, I think you'd find that it's a delight to drink. I think the hard part for today is that we're going to be comparing it to some whiskeys that are really, really special and really, really out there.
And not watered down.
Yeah. But 80 proof is certainly not watered down.
If this is the only Blanton's you'd ever had,
you'd like it.
You'd think this is great.
Right.
You know, it's Blanton's down a little bit.
Correct. So it's difficult to give it a rating because you want to rate it on its own merit and not compare it to the other 5 expressions that we've been drinking all day. There's no question.
Other 4. You've already lost count.
It's an entry level for Blanton's, but I think it's a beautiful whiskey for somebody who wants to step up to a single barrel, who's coming from bottom shelf, middle shelf store-bought whiskey. It's well made. It's well balanced. It's just, Blanton's light. So with that, I'm going to give it a solid 3 sips.
Interesting.
All right, Harm, what'd you think?
This is the first time for me to taste this. I traveled internationally quite a bit. That's not lately, since now I have a 3-year-old, but I've never seen this.
Canada doesn't count.
Oh, I'm telling you, we don't just go to Canada.
Like real international.
I'm talking about Singapore and Hong Kong and India, of course, and Germany.
Have you ever been to India?
UK.
It's an interesting place.
Yeah, I haven't been to South America or Australia yet, but I've pretty much hit the high points.
You're still running from those indictments, most likely. But
I think I'll have to probably be exiled to Australia eventually. That's my goal. But I've never seen this one, and I was very happy to taste it today.
You see it in my house.
Yeah. Well, when I come to your place, I don't look for the Blanton's Green Label. I'm looking at for the Booker's Rye, the George T. Stagg. Yeah. Anywho, as they say in the vernacular, the Green Label is new to me. I was happy to taste it, but then I was like, it's 80 proof. And you know how I add water to everything.
Crybaby.
Yeah.
I did not add water to this at all.
Well, they've already added the water to it.
Yeah, they've already added the water to this.
Yeah.
So for me, I didn't get as much citrus as I got floral notes. I got nice floral notes, and the toasted oak kind of stood out for me on the nose. The palate, I got a little bit of the citrus, but more vanilla and honey than anything else. It was a kind of a dry finish. There was some nice spice to it, but not as much as I was expecting from a Blanton's. So, frankly, the most I could give it was 3 sips.
Interesting.
All right, Brent, what do you think?
Well, those are pretty much spot on. It's just my problem is that I had this one after having one of the other ones we're doing straight from the barrel, and so you really kind
went from the highest proof down to the lowest.
So
there you go. Yeah,
not fair.
Not fair.
There's a flag on the play.
429 Boss Mustang to the smart car. Let's go.
There's a flag on the play.
Now we've seen Brent's priorities. I'm going to get drunk quick with go for the high proof stuff.
So everything seemed muted with this, but if, like I said, if this was your choice of having this, I mean, it's very good on its own, but compared to the others,
there's a lot of other whiskeys out there that are nowhere near as good. I'll give you that.
Oh yeah,
right. But I mean, but compared to the other ones, this one was, almost a letdown. Like I wouldn't go out and search for this one versus
this is the stuff we send to the rest of the world.
Yes, I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know why they want
this is Blanton's middle finger to the world. We keep the good stuff here.
Here you go. This is for you in the UK.
Yeah, but they also get the best stuff too. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
It's like I don't understand why why they're making this expression.
Well,
but
some of the best stuff is considered best because it's forbidden fruit. It's hard to get.
Oh yeah,
and we want gold and black and silver because we just can't get them.
Exactly.
This one, it's not worth the hunt, is what you're saying.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's still good, but I'm still going to give it a 3 sips.
Interesting.
It's an introductory level bourbon, and that has its place.
Right.
But given how difficult the regular single barrels become to get and how highly allocated it is, I think if you see a barrel, I see a bottle of the Green Label in a duty-free shop, I wouldn't hesitate to pick it up.
Oh yeah.
Well, what did you think?
It's the experience itself. It's just being able to try the different variations of it. I mean, that for me,
it looks good on the shelf. It's a nice label.
I mean, that's how I ended up with this. Well, I bought this bottle, 1, because I hadn't had it, and 2, because, well, we were going to do a show. So I figured it was, it was an easy purchase. But yeah, again, it's Blanton's at a 9 as opposed to an 11. I mean, the Blanton's profile is there. It's just, just toned down just a slight bit. The thing that really jumped out for me though was how much the oak and the tannin came forward on something that, conceivably this is Blanton's standard regular like we get. It's just at 80 as opposed to 90. And, just adding that touch more water to bring that much oak out. Now, again, it's also a single barrel product. Even the green label is a single barrel product.
But that's what I was saying in my first initial review, and maybe you guys were talking out of turn and didn't hear it. But
we don't listen to you. We're just ignoring you straight up.
But the fact is that I don't know if it's a particular barrel or a particular bottle. I agreed with you. I think the oak comes too
this
far
is
forward.
the barrel because I just can't see that adding just that much, a slight bit more water to bring the proof down is going to bring the oak out that much. I think we just got a barrel that had a lot more oak.
We're going to get back to that later.
I'm thinking is what this one would taste like if it was a barrel proof. Because if down at 80, I'm tasting that much oak.
You'd be chewing on a 2x4.
Oh yeah, they'd be like licking a
proof.
carpenter's shop floor. So, but yeah, a good solid whiskey, absolutely no complaints. And if this was
we
the
had a lot
only
of
one,
complaints. You keep saying you're using that phrase wrong. We had some complaints.
If this was the only one, if this is the only Blanton's I could get, I'd absolutely drink it, no problem. But a good solid
success.
3.
Interesting.
There you go.
All right, well, we'll go to Brent, and he's going to introduce our next product.
Thanks, Bob. The next one is the original Blanton single barrel bourbon. It's 46.5 ABV or 93 proof. This one is 2016 gold medal New York World Wine and Spirits Competition. So
this particular barrel, this is all single barrel. Come on.
Yeah,
this
all
one.
single barrel.
Yeah,
This
is how I roll, baby. This is.
Yeah, this is the standard Blanton's expression that we all know and love and can found all over the USA. And it's distinguished right away when you look on the shelf because this is the one with the sphere. We didn't mention that yet, but it's the round one. It's the spherical one. So, besides having that little horsey on top.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're talking about the bottle.
Right, the bottle itself, right.
To be clear, all the expressions we've tasted today are in the same bottle, the spherical.
Yeah, well, not the UK ones. They're in 700 CL bottles as opposed to 750 ml bottles.
Right, they're a little bit smaller.
Okay. Yeah, until you put them next to each other, you can't really tell a difference.
But it is fairly much the same.
Yeah,
it's a standout. It's a standout on the shelf.
Right,
it is. It's the same bottle.
It is a big standout. This has got a reddish amber color. It's just about the lightest one of all the ones that we're looking at here.
I think that the green was a little lighter in color.
Just about the lightest. Yeah, the green was just a tad bit lighter.
Because color matters on the radio, kids. Get on with it, Brent.
Yeah.
Why are you so obsessed with color? I'm just saying. Okay.
I'm just always obsessed with it.
It's prejudice.
It's on the nose. I get a lot of clove, spice, and a lot of vanilla. With the when I taste it, it's pretty much right on with what's been. We have some burnt sugar. We got a lot of vanilla. I get a lot of vanilla with this and a lot of fruit. With the finish, we get the honey and the citrus, and it's a nice long finish. I really love the finish on these at all. It's a lot longer than your normal.
Have some more now. Just thanks.
Yeah, it's a nice finish. I get to say,
have some of your tasty beverage.
Very tasty, very.
Maury, you've got the bottle over there.
Thank you, Samuel L. Jackson, for sharing your tasty beverage with us.
I'm going to give this a sips rating of 4.
Right.
That's classified.
All right, Maury, what'd you think?
Well, as much as I hate to admit it, I have to agree with Bob. I have to agree with Brent. Brent and Bob, they look kind of alike.
Yeah, whatever. They started.
Maury also started with the high proof.
Yeah.
I agree with Brent's comments. I think the color is a little bit lighter than some of the others we've tasted, but definitely a little bit shade darker than the green label. Again, on the nose, really dried citrus and orange peel kind of stands out for me. The usual flavors of caramel and vanilla and honey are there. I agree with everything he said about the palate. And it does. It has a really pleasant, nice, long finish. It's clearly a step up from the green label. And it's really everything that those of us that have been Blanton's drinkers know and love about the product. It's just a beautiful whiskey. It's well crafted. The bottle is definitely unique. And it's a shame that it's gotten so difficult to get. Once upon a time, you could pick up a Blanton's anywhere, anytime. And now shops are getting 2 bottles in, and it's gone before you can even find it. So if you see it, if you stumble across it, I wouldn't hesitate to pick up a bottle. You won't be sorry. It's definitely a premium whiskey. And with that, I give it a solid 4 sips.
That's classified.
All right, Harm, what'd you think?
Oh, I like this stuff. It's hard to get right now, which it shouldn't be, but darn it, it is. Can I say damn it on NPR? Damn it, it's hard to find now. By the way, I did get some. But
real liquor stores have no trouble.
Yeah, I just got a case in.
Those with the enematic machines.
We used to have case stackers. Now it's like, oh, here's a case. Say thank you.
Yeah.
But anyway, at any rate, the color is dead on, the reddish amber gold. I just love this color. I could just look at this and smell this all night. I got some, like they were saying, the citrus, but for me, what stood out was a lot of spice, but then it reminded me of those sugar cookies I used to eat, like when we were little kids, those gluco biscuits. I guess they were called, gluco. Remember, this is huge in India, Pakistan.
Oh, that's why. Yes, yeah.
In UK too, and it's
talk a language we can understand. How about Oreo, boy?
This is the number one
Nilla
selling
wafer?
cookie in the world. They call them, of course, since the British heritage is the gluco. So yeah, not Nilla wafer. Nilla wafer has a totally different smell, but this reminded me of. It reminded me of those cookies, those little tea biscuits. They're called gluco biscuits. And it just reminded me of that. It just like took me back. It's like, oh wow.
I don't want to be pretentious, but I actually do know what he's talking about.
Yeah, those are good biscuits.
Yeah, they are actually.
They're really good cookies.
Yeah, they're actually good.
Perfect with coffee and tea.
Yeah.
So I got that a hint of that, and that's just like that automatically gave it an extra sip rating right there. So it's a full-bodied whiskey on the palate, the burnt sugar, the caramel, like they're saying. I got the clove, but that smell of the gluco biscuit, that sugariness, that little bit of oak, it just blends so well. This is just a really well-balanced whiskey. And the finish, to me, started a little bit dry, so I added a couple drops of water to it. I actually liked it a little bit better with water. Wouldn't
that be Green Label?
No. But I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong notes. I like this one better without the water. Sorry. Wrong notes. I've been drinking again. So I did add the water, but it actually, to me, tasted better without the water. I wouldn't even put ice in this one. Just sip this neat.
I just put a straw in the bottle, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, 4 sips.
All right.
That's classified.
Well, Bob, we haven't heard from you. Do you have anything newsworthy?
Newsworthy? No, not a dang thing. This, for a lot of people who are in the bourbon hobby, the people who are really into it, it is the one that got the vast majority of us started. This was the first premium bourbon. And when Elmer T. Lee came up with the idea of this, they thought the man was insane. At that point, you couldn't give bourbon away. And he came in and said, not only am I making a premium product, not only am I charging a premium price for it, but I'm going to do a single barrel as well. And I'm going to put it in a really fancy bottle that requires hand bottling, and it's going to be a real pain in the rear end to do. And they looked at him and they probably thought he was out of his mind. But, the fact is the man was proved right. It's my old standard. I mean, this is one of the whiskeys that I really cut my teeth on when I realized, man, there are better whiskeys out there. There are better bourbons out there. It always hits the spot for me, and honestly, give it a 4.
That's classified.
Nice.
Well said, Bob. I agree with those thoughts and comments. It was really the front runner and the definer of the class.
Yeah.
And many people have followed suit and created their own single barrel, but
Elmer's the one. Elmer was the man. I got the chance to meet him once many years ago before he passed. Obviously before he passed. But just the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. And when you look
For
at
all
that
you at
guy,
home, just pour some out.
Yeah, just next time you go somewhere, just pour a dram into the grass and remember Elmer, because he's the guy who really started bourbon on its trip back up. God bless him. And
do you like this carpet? Because I can just pour some out right now.
You can talk to my wife about that one. What carpet? We're in the basement.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's wet down here all
Got
night.
my hip waders on.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to talk to our next edition. We're going to have Harmeet come in and introduce us.
All right. So the next product is another one that's available only in the international market. Another one I'd never seen before. Thank you guys for bringing this in. Maury is gesturing. Why don't you say you want some? He's just gesturing vigorously. It's like, give me this. So this is the Gold label. Gold edition is 51.5% alcohol. It's designed to be a fuller flavored, higher proof expression of the original. It's, again, as only available in the international market. And again, I'd never seen it before. And thank you guys for having it here today. Darn good stuff. Color is bright gold. The nose. I know, well, I'm out of turn. I know you guys were talking about nuts and lemon and all that stuff. But to me, the nose was a little bit hot. And I was...
It's quite hard. Pungent. Oh, yeah.
No. It was a little hot.
It's a formidable scent. It stings the nostrils.
That's exactly it. It was a little hot. The palate was oily, mouth coating. I got a lot of cinnamon and white pepper on it. There's a lot of spices overawing me. So this is the one I did add water in this. So when I added the water, the citrus and the vanilla really came up, and it was stunning. Without the water, it would have been 4 sips, but with that water, I went all the way to 5.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah! Oh boy, is this great!
Mm-hmm. I loved it. Yeah, thank you.
So I think we can take it that you enjoyed this one.
I
do.
do.
Yeah, well, I always try and keep all the iteration of Blantons handy somewhere in the house whenever humanly possible.
I'll be looking for this. I'll have a story about Blanton's about the single barrels. They do change a little bit. You know, the single barrels do vary. So,
all right, we'll be back.
Destination, but baby, the whole elation riding down this lover's avenue. As slow as the willow blows, or as fast as the whirlwind grows, we glide beneath the stars in cobalt blue. Look to the left, to the right, keep your eyes on the road, my darling, wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows, my hand is yours forever, sweet love. Our eyes ahead on these back roads with a view.
And we're back, and we are discussing Blanton's single barrel bourbon and all the different iterations of that product.
Iterations, and we're only back if they're still listening. 3 minutes of entertainment's all we promise, man, today.
Yeah, we're way past 3 minutes. Yeah, you're right. Probably nobody's listening at this point. All right. All right, Maury, what did you think about the Gold Edition?
Well, as much as I hate agreeing with Harmeet, I think
it's because I'm brown.
It is because you're brown.
No, it's just because he's a jerk. But
I think his comments were just spot on. I love the color. I love the packaging. It's very regal. The fact that there's not really a printed label on the bottle, just gold writing on the bottle, and you can see the whiskey from top to bottom. It's fantastic packaging. Again, it's got a beautiful feel on the palate. It's mouth coating. It's viscous. It's just simply delicious. It really fires on all cylinders. It's balanced. It's well crafted. It's got a beautiful long finish. I do agree with Harmeet that adding a little bit of water, for me, brought out a few more nuances of it, but really just a superb whiskey all the way around. And I too give it 5 sips.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah!
all right, what'd you think, Brent?
I loved it. That's all there is to it. I loved it. No.
All right, next.
Next.
No, that was easy.
But
we got plenty of time now.
When you look at this on the shelf, this one stands out, when you mentioned the gold on the label, but also this one is the only one that has a gold top to it with the horse. With all the other ones there, it's a standard horse. This one has a gold top. So it really does present itself on the shelf a little bit. Yeah. So they're like bronze. But yeah, I get a lot of the lemon and nuts in it. I get a lot of, on the palate, I get a lot of apricot. And
I didn't get any apricot.
You didn't get any apricot? I got apricot on the palate.
I'm retasting. This stuff is good.
And
does anybody know what countries this is available in?
Europe.
UK.
Yeah, UK.
That's not so much a country,
UK?
kids.
Yeah.
Well, there's a 70 CL marking on the side of this bottle. That's just so disappointing.
I mean,
where's that extra 50 milliliters?
To break it down, here in the U.S., we get Blanton single barrel. Now, in the U.K., they receive regular single barrel, which is the 90 proof. They also receive the green, which is the 80 proof. They get the gold. They get straight from the barrel. And years ago, for a very brief time, they did one which was silver, which I think they made for a year or two, which is absolutely incredibly collectible, but I'm not paying that kind of money.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Why do they get 4 or 5 choices and we get one?
Right.
The last time I was at Blanton's, I walked into the bottling hall, and the famous Susie Watkins was there working as usual. God bless her. And they were bottling gold that day. And it just absolutely broke my heart that they were bottling this, and I'm watching these go down the little conveyor belt, and I'm realizing that I can't have this. And I was fortunate that I had a tour. It was late in the day, and I was the only one there. And the gentleman who was doing the tour for me, I was almost in tears, and he said, "What's wrong?" I said, "You're killing me. I mean, this is one of my favorite whiskeys out there, and I can't have any." And he walked over to the tub where they pour it in. And
you're just bragging now. There was no point to the story. I got some free whiskey.
So it was awesome. So that was a good day. So.
You didn't answer your question, Maury. You just said this was an opportunity for you to say, I got some.
Listen, I understand the duty-free market.
I got this bottle, so heck with you.
The duty-free market and export market, sometimes they're adjusting to a different flavor profile. Duty-free typically wants something that's unique and duty-free only. But the fact that they're sending more than one expression to Europe and more expressions to Europe than they are to the domestic market,
there's also there's also a Blanton's Black labeled as well.
Well, I have a bottle of that, and we're saving that for a future show, but that is a bottling specifically for the Japanese market. And it's really cool because not only has it got the black label, but half the bottle's written in Japanese script, so it's kind of cool. So what was your SIPS rating?
My SIPS rating on this is a 5.
All right.
Oh my goodness!
I'm sure we did that. Oh, Bob, what was your SIPS rating?
I could sit here and just reiterate everything that everyone else said. This is Blanton's turned up to 11. I mean, it's fuller, it's deeper, it's richer. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this whiskey. I'm picking up the lemon on it. It's definitely got a thick, viscous mouthfeel to it. I didn't
get that nose of lemon. It was a little bit muted to me. But
I'll be honest with you. I had 2 glasses here, and I had one sitting, and I let it sit for a little while.
And then you got the nose,
and then the lemon came out.
It's definitely delayed. I agree. Yeah. I think it needs a little oxygen to bring that lemon out.
Yeah, and I mean, you're getting that fudge, that dark cocoa. I mean, it's a great whiskey. I couldn't improve upon it. I give it 5 cents.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, but here's a way to improve upon it. What about our next one?
Send me more. That's the way to improve upon it. Hello, folks at Sazerac. I know you love us. A case of 6 of these would be lovely, but a case of 6 of the next one would be even better. And that's our next product. And our next product is the one that holds a real spot in my heart, which is Blanton straight from the barrel. And this bottle is, who's got the bottle? What does it say?
It's right over there, but I'd like to see some more of that.
This particular bottle is 130.3 proof. Let's see, it was dumped on 1/5/15. It is barrel number 420. It is basically, there's no mystery here, and the name pretty much sums up what this whiskey is all about. It's Blanton's at barrel strength. It's not watered down. It's a single barrel strength. Unlike the other expressions, this is non-chill filtered. This is the only one that is non-chill filtered. All the rest of them are chill filtered. This one is not.
What you said the first time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that the gold was chill filtered because it's so viscous and it's got such beautiful mouthfeel.
And again, unfortunately, this one is only available in the international market. But this is one of the ones that I always try to keep a couple of bottles laying around. I mean, we're drinking this one. I know I've got at least one or maybe 12. Feel my shame hidden away. This one,
I don't want to feel your shame. I think I'd go to jail for that.
Yeah. Don't touch my shame. This is one of the ones that has always been one of my favorites. I mean, this is Blanton's turn to 11, if not to 12. It's a powerful whiskey. Needless to say, every bottle you're going to get is going to be different because every barrel is going to be different. But it's at barrel proof. I've had them as low as like 120. I've had them as high as nearly 140. Honey, vanilla, spice, tobacco. This particular barrel, I'm picking up pralines. Huge confectioner's pralines. On the palate, very thick, very rich, very full and creamy.
I believe the term is praline.
Praline.
That's praline.
Praline if you from New York City. Praline if you from where I'm from, boy. Citrus, buttery. This particular barrel is usually they're a little bit heavier on the oak. This one's actually a little bit lighter on the oak. I pick up a little bit of spice in the end and the caramel. The finish is long and lasting. If I sound like I'm getting emotional, it's because I am. Because honestly, this is one of my favorite bourbons out there. And if this was the only one they ever sold,
I thought it was the lights. It's the really tears in your eyes.
I'd be happy to drink this one every day, and skip all the rest. You know me, I'm a cast strength mental patient, and this one is like my crack, and I give it a 5 sips.
Drink it in. It always goes down smooth.
Let's not speak of your crack ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bob, I thought you summed it up really, really nicely. It is.
Oh God, I'm out. Somebody hand the bottle down.
The last, the gold was Blanton's at 11. This is definitely Blanton's turned up to 12. It just is unbelievable. Just when I thought it couldn't get any better. Like most of these, I think most of us at the table, with the exception of you lush, we've never tried any of these expressions before.
You rang.
And I, like Harmeet and probably Brent as well, I've never tried any of these expressions with the exception of the domestic product.
You don't come over enough.
I know. You're in my house all the time
Yeah,
and you haven't
say,
opened this. It's like,
yeah. You have this at home?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Where
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me?
Where have you guys been hiding this?
He's worse than I am. Good Lord.
my God.
This was opened up on a Monday,
Yeah.
Not on a Monday I was in town. But I agree. I mean, the viscosity is even turned up more, the creaminess. I wouldn't have put praline or praline, as some of us would say, at the forefront of my mind. But now that you mention it, that definitely sums it up in one word.
That back cloak
sums it up in one word
of sort of a confectioner's. If you walk into a fudge, you walk into a Kilwin's fudge shop somewhere, and that sweet shop smell is just sort of.
I would have described it in about 20 words, and you took those 20 words and summed it up into one word: praline.
You obviously have a wonderful economy with words. I look forward to your next syllable with great eagerness.
Yeah,
thank you, Professor Kingsfield.
The only place I disagree with you is I think if I drank it every single day, it might become. Well, I'd probably still drink it every day. It's a special occasion.
You get carried
whiskey.
away. If I drank anything every single day, I'd get tired of it.
But it is a special occasion whiskey, especially because it's hard to get.
It's
And
Sunday.
when you get the bottle, you've got to savor every last drop of it. But if you can get your hands on one, don't hesitate. I think I might have to go out and, figure out how to find one.
I can hook you up.
With that, solid 5 sips. There's nothing else to be said. Finish,
Why
like
don't
that
you go
sound, the finish just goes on forever.
Yep.
Yeah. The color on this is really a dark gold color. It's really nice. And one thing I don't think people have mentioned on this is that
reddish,
a lot of people, because these have dates that they were dumped on, this is one of the ones that people go for like their birthday bourbons and they try to save the bottle for later. And they open it up years later or something. So people search out the dates on them for their birthday or for an anniversary or something like that. and it's just one of the things people do. But yeah, on these I got a lot of honey, a lot of vanilla, chocolate, tobacco. Great long finish. The apricots again. I get the apricots, the citrus, and then I get that chocolate on the end of it. But very long finish. That's
Do you know
what
the
I love
difference
about
between an apricot and a peach?
The fuzz.
Do you know the difference between an apricot and an apricot?
The apricot? No. Apricot?
Boy, is this great!
This is great. But yeah, this is, our sips ratings only go up so high, so I have to only give it a 5.
Only.
Oh my goodness!
Only a 5.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
All right. Y'all get your shotguns out because I didn't feel the same way. Well, this is good old boy Harmeet saying, I have a very sensitive nose and I do wine stuff and...
He's sensitive, all right.
Listen to me. I thought this whiskey, I do wine and I drink wine and I love whiskey. I love Scotch more than bourbon, but this is one of those bourbons. Blanton's something definitely on the top of the list. And for me, I got citrus and ginger on the nose. There was a spice that was definitely ginger, and that the fudge came out, the caramel, and I tasted it and I loved it. And then I let it sit in my glass for a little bit and tasted it again, and I got freaking cork. Why am I tasting cork?
You waited too long.
I don't understand this. I got cork, and I can't get over that. It's like corked wine.
You should have drank it faster.
Oh, damn.
I think I finally
there's something
found my
wrong with this
death row
particular
bourbon.
bottle. I'd say normally this would be a 5, but I can't give it more than a 3. Sorry.
Interesting.
It got corked. This is corked.
Maybe you have a dirty glass.
All right, we're going to go to Maury for our last one.
Okay. Moving right along. Our last and final whiskey of the day is Blanton's Original Single Barrel that was hand-selected by Bern Steakhouse in Tampa, Florida.
The legendary steakhouse.
Legendary. For those of you who haven't been there, one of the largest wine collections probably in the world.
500,000 bottles. They raise their own cows, for crying out loud.
And their whiskey collection is really nothing to sneeze at either. This again is Blanton's Original Single Barrel, same as what we had tried earlier. It's got a nice, beautiful reddish amber color. It's got some. The nose is definitely a little more muted than any of the bourbons we've tried earlier today. There is some aroma of dried citrus and orange peel with, again, a little hint of caramel and vanilla, but just a little more muted than perhaps the regular Blanton.
Which is surprising for a single barrel pick.
Yeah. The palate's full and soft. Again, on the heels of the last bourbon, nothing can compare to the last one or two that we've had.
Yeah, unfortunately, this one's the last one. Yeah.
Again, some burnt sugar, some caramel, some orange, some cloves, some baking spice. Finish is balanced. There's vanilla and citrus on the finish. It's a much shorter finish than either of the last two expressions, but then again, it's lower proof and watered down version of the straight from the barrel. Again, a delicious bourbon.
It's the same proof as the original. It's 93.
Yeah, it's 93,
right,
but it's not 130, and that's a substantial difference. It's a fine bourbon, and I give it a solid 4 sips.
You are generous.
All right, Brent, what do you think about it?
Okay, when I compare this one, I have to compare it just to the regular Blantons, and when you put the two of them side by side, every single barrel is different. But and so maybe I like the other one better. I like the original one better that we have. So that's just the choice of those barrels. It's not to mean anything's wrong with this one, but it is a little bit lighter on the nose and a little bit less. The flavor came out, but I got a lot of the same flavors as the other one, the vanillas, the caramels, a little bit of chocolate on there, and it was very good. I mean, I'm still going to give this a very solid 4 sips rating. It's still nice. It was
exactly.
Nice.
It's just different,
right,
than the original,
right? And so with every barrel being different, you never know what kind you're going to get.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have today. We hope you enjoyed this episode. You can catch all of our episodes online as well as on SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, PRX, and Spreaker, our native media host. Google Play and our Android app are the easiest ways to enjoy the show on your phone. Just search for Sips, Suds, and Smokes on iTunes or the Google Play Store. We love your feedback, and you can reach us online at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com. Our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter every day at Sips, Suds, and Smokes, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. Do us a favor and take the time to rate this episode. If you're listening to us online, that's a big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well. I want to thank our co-host for joining us today. Thank you, Brent.
That's a pleasure. That neon light, flashing light, got annoying after a while, but it was still nice.
Thank you, Maury.
Thank you, Bob. I'm so glad I wore my waders today since the basement's a little damper than usual.
Well, and thank you, Harmeet.
Humbug.
For Sips, Suds, and Smokes, this is Madman Bob. We thank you for joining us. Remember, life is too short to drink cheap whiskey.
This has been a one-tan hand production of Sips, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.